Good morning, welcome to TERRA at Home. We've decided to venture down to Niagara to the Vineland area, and I'm here with Colleen from TERRA, and we're at Maple Leaf right now, and they're an amazing grower. Beautiful stuff in behind us here, but we want to talk a little bit about how we can extend our gardens. So what does that mean?
Well, it means not just thinking in the moment with what you see, but thinking ahead about a season or 2 seasons so that you have interest year round and not just what you see now.
I see. So, you know, versus just planting your annuals and they're pretty for a few months and then after that, nothing. So
Exactly.
we have to also think how plants sort of change, and as the seasons go by, they change color, and some flower, some don't. So we have all kinds of plants around us to sort of help our garden.
Exactly. So it's a great idea when you're doing your garden the annuals are great because they give you the color all season long and they're the consistent. The thing that I love about gardening is how things change, and so it's always this evolution of what's going on in the garden. Every time you walk out, you see something new. So planting things for the fall season when your annuals are usually looking a little bit tired, and even through the winter season, there's lots of stuff that can give you winter interest in your garden and also help the environment and the little creatures that are living out there too.
And that's true. You know, I after doing a new garden last summer, I paid more focus to and attention to the winter interest, and I really appreciated it because, and I know the little critters did as well. So I had certain, again, just little flowers that are almost sort of just petrified there, but the squirrels and the birds would come up and sort of peck away at it, and it did look neat. It wasn't just this flattened, covered in ice and snow environment.
Exactly.
There was lots of things to see, and it just looked different from the summertime.
And the one nice thing too to think about is not just the visual, but also the sound. When you plant the ornamental grasses, which are quite popular year round, they love the sun. There are some that love shade as well, but they're great because they are ever changing. So in the spring, you cut them back, but then as they grow through the summer, then in the fall, they'll have the plumes on them, and then most of them will have a fall color, and then in the winter, they just kind of stay where they are, and then that gives you that look too, so that helps give you some protection for your garden, for your animals, but also when the wind blows through them, it just gives you a little bit of a sheltered noise. So especially if you live in the city where you live near a busy road or something like that, then that also helps just kind of conceal that city noise and give you a little bit more natural environment.
It does. It actually does almost create an outdoor white noise.
Exactly.
Right? There's something very soothing about that. That's why I love the grasses. I love anything that really can sort of pick up the wind. The variegated Japanese willows, I love those. They can grow crazy fast.
Yes.
But I love what they give, that blowing effect. And again, they're very different from spring into summer into fall. And it's just something very nice about watching that change.
Yeah, and there's lots of different sizes of the grasses too, like the one beside you there. That almost looks like a bamboo.
Yes, it does.
And it's a northern sea oat. So it does have a kind of a really neat plume to it where it looks like oats, and it also goes in the wind and produces food for birds.
I love that.
And then there's other ones too, like there's this one here that's just called Burgundy Bunny. So it's just a cutie cute. And it only gets about like a foot tall, but it gets like, it's kind of a neat color to it.
Yep, has
and then
burgundy and green.
You have different other ones too that grow anywhere. You know, this one grows a foot, and you have other ones that grow like 6 to 8 feet tall.
Right. So, and you're trying to get that variation as well,
Exactly.
right? You want to have that, so you have some nice, sort of tight little self-contained, and then ones that get nice and big, so you can see sort of that flow through the garden.
Exactly. And then combining the grasses with other things that have different textures to them. Another popular one for fall are the sedums.
I like these.
So these, again, they're succulent. Hot, dry, any condition, they can take it. And you basically can't kill them.
I love that. That's a challenge for many of us
go.
out there. Let's see if I can actually take this out.
So yeah, this is just a traditional autumn joy, but you also have other ones that have kind of like plum-colored leaves.
Right.
There's the variegated one as well that looks really good in combination. It gives you that contrast.
Yes, that's nice too.
And then in front of that are our drift and our knockout roses, which flower all summer long.
They are great roses, those ones.
They do. We had some at the head office last year, and they flowered right up until frost. Came back in the spring and started blooming at the beginning of June.
And that's what you want. You know, a lot of times people pay such focus to the roses in June, right? And then you kind of think sort of just, right? But these are going steady all season.
Definitely. And they're more of a shrub rose.
Right.
So that you get clusters of flowers. And Different colors of flowers are available as well in the same kind. The drift rose is more of a ground cover rose, so they're smaller roses, lower growing, and the knockouts are a little bit more of a shrub rose, so about 3 feet, 4 feet tall.
How about maintenance for those? Are those pretty straightforward?
They are pretty easy.
Yeah,
They're
again, comparatively.
disease resistant, hardy over the winter. You don't have to hill them, you don't have to prune them too much, just to tidy them up. And then in the spring, you just kind of prune back what's not growing.
And that's where some people love roses, but they shy away from the standard or traditional rose because of all the maintenance involved, right? But that is a lot easier. So, and they're so beautiful and they smell great.
Yeah, they're great. Other ones that are good for fall too, we have Japanese maples.
Yep.
And they are great not only for the texture, almost all of them give you an amazing fall color.
Exactly.
We have some green varieties here that give you the texture through the summer, but in the fall, most of them turn like reds and oranges, and this one's an autumn moon here that has a nice color almost all season long.
I love Japanese maples. It's one of my favorite trees.
It's beautiful. And then in the winter, when they lose their leaves, it's the architectural of the branching.
Yes.
It's so interesting.
Yes, exactly. Just the way they kind of go out, and they do. As long as the animals don't get to them in the winter like mine.
True. Yes, rabbits do tend to like
the rabbits attacked mine this past winter. I looked at it this spring and I said, what happened to it? I couldn't figure it out, but
they do. They're pretty resilient though.
Yeah, you know what? Absolutely, because it's grown back and all of a sudden new sprouts, and it's been doing really well this summer. So
yeah,
there we go. Okay, what else?
What else? One of the common ones too is sumac. This is the relative of the native variety, the staghorn sumac. This is called tiger eyes. Okay. So in the spring it has great color, and then in the summertime it has this nice chartreuse color, and then it goes the most vibrant, brilliant orange red in the fall.
It's hard to imagine when you look at it, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's just amazing.
That's great.
And this grows relatively straight too, but it gives you kind of a nice lacy texture. It's kind of gives you an alternate version of a Japanese maple too that's extremely hardy.
Right.
It gives you some similar idea to that.
Exactly. So it's best to go in, to TERRA and ask some questions, right?
Yes.
What you're looking for. Even I always like taking pictures of my garden, and I can show you guys, hey, what do you think? What should I put right there? And then obviously, making note of where your garden is situated and how much sun and how much shade and what else it's around it. But, really make some good decisions. And even if you can only do 1 or 2 plants, a year by changing up some of your perennials, do it, because it really makes a huge difference. And it's exciting to see what's going to happen in the spring and now the summer and the fall and the winter. You can actually really, overall have something changing in your garden, right?
Yeah, and the nice thing too is fall is a great time to plant because you don't get usually the heat of the summer that usually dries things out and puts them into shock. So the fall, the ground is warm, so the roots really get established really quickly. You usually have a little bit more rain, so you have that natural element in there that's going to help you have that plant established, and it's quite easy to get things established in the fall too. But still remember your transplant fertilizer.
Yes.
When you're doing it, that gives the roots a boost and gets them established a little bit more quickly.
So that's good. That's a good tip.
Year round.
It really helps. Like, why wouldn't you, right? It's so easy to do. And again, as you said, doing this in the fall really does make a difference, because we do start to get those cooler nights, even though we do have some warmer days. But as you mentioned, with the rain, with this, you're going to get a nice head start. People sometimes were worried about that as they're going into the winter. I shouldn't plant right now, but you've got a nice long fall season. Do it.
Yeah.
It's established before the winter comes. And surprise, in the spring, you have a beautiful garden.
Yes.
And you get to watch it grow. I love watching gardens continue to fill as the time goes on. So thank you so much. Good tips, Colleen. That's it for now. More TERRA at Home to come.
Live color fully at TERRA, where color lives.
Heritage Perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Good morning. Welcome back to Terra at Home. I'm here with Dave Maciulis from Natural Landscape Group, and we are in this gorgeous backyard that you designed over a period of time, right?
Yes.
So they had their requirements of pool first and let's do this. Amazing. I love the way you've done this wall around here.
Yeah.
And then we've kind of moved as we'll go through segments over the next couple of weeks and show some of the other parts of the backyard. But this is where we're starting. And we want to talk a little bit about when you create something like this for somebody, how important lighting is.
Yes.
Right? You've got this amazing epic backyard with all these different elements going, but if once the sun goes down, you can't see it.
That's right. Well, you know, you put so much money into all the accessories and the elements and the patio and the pool, and you get to see this looking out the window or enjoy it during the day, but really where you get a great effect is in the evening when it's all illuminated up and it has that little bit of romance to it, you know? And so what we do is we try to, you know, during the day you don't see any sources, but at night you see the effect. And one of the most amazing effects of this retaining wall that was required because the land was, you know, a bit of a challenge.
Right.
So we had to carve into it to create the level space for the pool, is undermount coping of the retaining wall are all these lights that come on at night, and it's just spectacular.
Gorgeous. And as you say, you wouldn't even know they're there.
No.
So I didn't know until you were showing me some pictures of what this actually looks like at night.
Yes.
But it is unbelievable, and it really highlights the wall.
Yes.
And there's something about seeing the stone wall at night behind you. And it is illuminating areas of the backyard. It's featuring areas of the backyard.
That's right.
Right? And obviously you have the pool right in front of us here as well. So, you know, you've got that water running and the night's a little bit more still and you have lighting everywhere.
That's right.
So where else do you have lighting?
Well, we have uplighting in the trees.
Okay.
We actually create a little bit of the mood firelight with the patio fire pit that comes out from the middle of the patio off to our side here.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just, you wouldn't even know it's a fire pit because it's just flush with the
That's
ground.
right.
And then all of a sudden people here, you know, having a good time, sun goes down and then you've got a fire pit as well.
Yeah.
You've got everything here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the transformation of this, like, you know, as you sit here during the day, you know, you see the patio, you got the lounge furniture for sun tanning in, but I'll tell you something, there's just a completely different way you feel of living in this backyard when the sun goes down.
I can imagine, right? And it's leveled. I like different levels. I like when you do that with backyards and how, you know, you have sort of the patio that's closer to the house. It's up a little bit and then you kind of go to the pool. And naturally, of course, the landscape dips down as we go into natural environment behind us. But it just gives it so much more character.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, you're coming into this area now. Did they have any sort of plans for what they really wanted in this space? I mean, they knew they wanted a pool, but then, you know, they wouldn't have thought of this wall.
No, well, you know what we do when we design something, and now we're all doing it with the 3D technology so you can help show them what it's going to look like. We accessorize it with the furniture because they want to know where they're going to sun lounge, if they're going to have conversation by a fireside patio, for their dining, even down to the planters. I mean, they really enjoy the container planting, but you know, everything that we try to figure out is low maintenance. The container plants are self-watering containers.
Awesome.
You know, the furniture, this type of virgin resin wicker doesn't really need cleaning too much. You know, you wash it down, but just, and even the cushions and accessories, you know, outdoor durability, like these are things that we plan right from day one, and we show them how it's all going to look.
Well, you're encouraging people to spend more time outdoors, right? So if you're investing the money in something like this, the way people are nowadays is because we have so little time for ourselves. You don't want to be going around and watering all your plants and having to clean all this stuff off. You want to be able to just walk out in your backyard and enjoy it.
That's right.
Right? Have people over last minute, maybe on a Friday night, and be able to sit out here and have a great time.
Yeah.
Now, looking around also, just some of the plant life you've built up behind the retaining wall, all that matters. There's a lot of thought put into all of that, yet it seems so easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and just even the types of plants, and we use it in blocks, and you know, you try to create unity among the blocks so that it's very little maintenance.
Right, and that again too with plant life, you don't want to be having to go in there and climb in through your beds. This is not that kind of garden.
No.
This is like self-managing, right?
Yeah. Well, there's some people that love gardening, so they'll put 20 hours a week in their backyard, and there's some people that just say, I want to be out poolside.
Right.
And so really cut the grass, make sure your irrigation system comes on to water the plants, and enjoy.
That's cool. So we obviously, lighting a big deal, and you have lighting incorporated all through this area.
That's right.
And then again, the accessories. So you can just imagine how different it would be depending on what you set up around the pool.
That's right.
Like just the options of color and design going along with what you think is, you know, their version of trendy or what they like to use. But these are the parts that are easy to change up.
That's right.
Right,
Yeah.
year in and year out. We have segments coming up, of course, that, you know, we talk about different elements of the backyard, but people are really wanting to have it all out here now. So they take what would have been their living space inside when we're in the middle of January and pull all outside. So you have this, you have your area to lounge, you've got your outdoor kitchen, you've got a bar area where this guy really wanted to make sure he had a cool bar area with a TV and everything.
Yeah.
So you have to think of everything, and I know we talked about that's your job to help people kind of visualize what this is going to look like.
Yeah.
But it's really important. The lighting thing, I think, is so important, and sometimes you don't know it until you see it.
That's right.
And I think one of the things with lighting, it seems to me, is that you have it hidden up through the wall here, but when I look around, I don't see any lighting anywhere.
No, no. But the evening time is a real wow factor. And you know what? It's like you use your property during the day. Yeah, it's very useful. And if you can imagine what I couldn't get out of it if I didn't light it up properly.
Sure.
So, and here they're extending their outdoor entertaining until midnight, or I guess until the neighbors don't complain. So I've actually had some clients say, we were out here until 1, 2 a.m. having a conversation, having our Merlot, sitting by the fireside patio,
Right.
or just actually hanging out in the pool, because even the pool illuminates at night as well.
Oh,
So everything is
beautiful.
coordinated.
Yeah.
So when this thing comes on, when the sun is down, is, like I say,
So
it's
nice.
a real different visual.
It would be, and as you say, like people wouldn't, if this would be pitch black out here
Yep.
in this area, so you wouldn't even come over
Well, you don't
here.
have street lights either.
No,
you know,
I
you got
mean,
the
we're backing
backdrop
into-
of natural trees
Right.
that are just dark, you know. So.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I was joking earlier when I was talking to you, just have that porch light on,
Yeah.
and you go up near the porch and it's very bright and not so forgiving at nighttime.
With all the bugs flying around it.
Oh yeah, the bugs around it. It's just not. As soon as you see what lighting can do and up uplighting in the trees, as you say, that is
Well,
just awesome.
Outdoor night lighting is a very low type of light, so you're not attracting the bugs. It's creating a mood. And now with the new LED technology, you save a lot of money.
Sure.
You can actually, some people do like that white bright look, but people still love that,
The warm light.
the warm light. So
Yes.
the amber look, so LED comes into that.
Right.
And so all these lights here have that type of effect.
And you have music as well, so maybe that might be shut down a little bit before 1 a.m. But
Yeah.
there's full-on music incorporated in here,
That
wireless.
look like light fixtures.
Yeah, they look like light fixtures too, and that's another thing that you could add in. I didn't even know where they were. You had to show me. They were kind of just hiding in the shrubs, and meanwhile, it's like you've got this whole like system out here. So all elements at play.
Yes.
Good stuff. So much fun. Thanks, Dave. This is great. That's it for now. We're going to have more Terra at Home coming up after this quick break. Please stay with us.
Live color fully at Terra, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Good morning, welcome back to Terra at Home. I'm here with Chef Mark from La Piazza Allegra restaurant in Hamilton, and we're in the heart of summer. We want to barbecue as much as we can, so you have some ideas for us today.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you a dry rub. Now, dry rubs are great because you can change them up. And the thing with that is you just got to experiment and see what you really like. Now, this is one that I use for poultry.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm going to show you how we make a barbecue sauce. Now, barbecue sauce takes a little bit of time to cook.
Okay.
So Brought some that was already done for us.
Oh, I like that. Just in case.
Just in case. But I'll show you all the ingredients that go into a standard barbecue sauce, and then of course you can modify that as you go along as well.
Okay. I think the best thing about doing both of these, the dry and of course the sauce itself, is that you know what you're putting in it, because a lot of them that we do buy can have preservatives in them.
That's right.
And or very high levels of sodium
That's
or
right.
sugar, so we can control that a little bit more.
Yeah, you get a little bit more control, and like I said, then you can gear things towards what you want.
What you like. Yeah.
So like this one is a poultry one that I brought in, and I'll tell you what makes that more on the poultry side. But you know, you can do one for pork, you can do one for fish, as far
Right.
as the dry rubs go.
Okay.
And again, it's about mixing and matching. So once you have the ingredients, then you start fiddling with the actual recipe and the quantities of each one.
True, and as you said, if, you know, you're going to be choosing herbs that are more suited for certain types of meat, right? As
That's
you
right.
mentioned, so we obviously know there's certain things that work very well for chicken
Yeah.
versus pork versus beef or whatever. So,
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good.
So we'll start with the dry rub. So what I have brought along here is a lemon pepper. Now this lemon pepper does have salt in it,
Yeah.
okay? But it doesn't have any preservatives or anti-clumping agents in it.
Okay.
So you got to be careful when you store stuff like that, just to make sure it doesn't all clump up on you.
Okay.
We have a garlic powder, okay? We have rubbed sage, sea salt, parsley flakes. These are dry parsley flakes. And this is dehydrated onion,
Okay.
okay?
Yep.
So, and then of course then we're going to use a little bit of pepper, okay, in this one as well. So for the poultry one, I use a fair amount of the lemon pepper. I like that nice citrusy with the chicken.
I like that
I
too.
think it goes over really, really well. We have the garlic powder that we're going to put in, and again, it's a fair amount. Those
But
two
you're using
items,
powder instead of salt, right?
yes,
So-
garlic powder. Now these two, I normally do about a 50-50 mix.
Okay.
Between the garlic powder and the lemon pepper. We have rub sage. Put a little bit of sage in there. We have some dehydrated parsley. A little pinch of that. And then we have those dehydrated onion flakes.
Okay.
So you can use an onion powder. I kind of like this because it leaves a little bit, it's a little chunkier
Yeah.
on the chicken when
Yes.
you go to grill it or whatever you want to roast it in the oven. And this is very similar to the one that we use at the restaurant, because we do chicken wings in our lounge portion at the restaurant, but we don't have deep fryers in the restaurant.
Okay.
So you got to come up with something to give them flavor. This is what we do.
Ah. One thing I find when I'm seasoning meat is that I tend to not know how far to go with the salt. Often it seems more alarming how much salt we have to use to give the meat flavor.
To give it flavor.
So obviously we have other elements here at play that are giving flavor, but I find I'm very worried about the sodium levels and how much I should be putting in, and then sometimes it's too salty or whatever, right? So
As a general rule, I say put some on there so you do have it while it's cooking, but it is one of those items that you can add after. You can always add it,
Right.
you can't take it away.
yes.
So,
Okay.
and you do have to be conscious of, like you said, this one has salt in it. Now the garlic that we use does not.
No.
So if you're using garlic salt, you got to be
You're adding
careful. If
again.
you're using an onion powder that has salt in it, again, you got to be careful. So I did add a little bit of salt to this as well.
Okay.
So this is a real basic dry rub that we
Okay.
have here.
Good.
Okay. If you find it too chunky, you can always put it in a food processor and just pulse it a couple
Sure.
times, and it really turns it into a powder.
Perfect.
I like it a little on the chunkier side.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the one we're going to use for our chicken wings. So I'm going to throw that right in there, and we coat it heavily. Okay. You do want to coat it nice and heavily.
Okay. Those would be good. That's a good flavor combination.
It is a nice flavor combination, and again, this is where you would, change things up. If you're going to do something with fish, you might want to eliminate the sage. You can add a little bit more of the lemon pepper, change that to a tarragon, a rubbed tarragon. Will give it a nice licorice flavor.
Yeah.
So I use something like that for our fish dishes.
Sure.
If you're looking at pork, again, maybe leave out the parsley on that, switch that to a rubbed marjoram, because marjoram goes over really well.
Pork,
You might want to take away the lemon pepper here, okay, so you don't get it citrusy with the pork.
Right.
Again, just keep changing it up.
Okay.
What's nice about this is you make it in big batches, put it in mason jars, and just label them.
Yeah,
Dry rub for
it's great,
poultry,
it's
dry
easy.
rub, and then you have
You've got it for the season.
You got it for the
Yeah,
season,
great.
exactly. All
Very
right, so
good.
there's our chicken wings.
Okay.
No oil or anything on that. It is a dry rub that we're putting in here, so we're going to go straight onto the barbecue
Okay.
with that nice and dry.
Perfect.
Now,
Now
barbecue
for
sauce.
Sauce.
Barbecue sauce is a little bit of work, okay? But again, what you do is you make it in big batches, put it into jars, and then just store it, okay?
Okay.
So to make barbecue sauce, you start off with tomatoes. You can use whole tomatoes, you can use the canned peeled tomatoes, whatever you like, okay? Molasses.
You need to have that sweet factor in
This
there,
is the
right?
sweet. It also gives it a nice caramelized taste to it.
Sure.
White vinegar,
White vinegar.
okay? Sugar.
Yep.
You can use white sugar, brown sugar, whatever you like.
Okay.
Garlic. Paprika. This is going to add a little bit of smokiness.
Right.
And some cayenne.
So you have to be careful with that one.
Yeah, I added a good amount. Black pepper. And then you can add chilies if you want.
Right.
Now, if you're looking to make this a little smokier, there is a product out on the market that is a smoked sea salt.
Yes.
And
I
the
do
smoked
have
sea
that.
salt is really, really nice. If you don't have the smoked sea salt, go with your
That's-
regular sea salt. But the smoked sea salt will give it that hickory smokiness
That's a
to
good.
it.
It's a good one.
Take that. You can add a little bit of water to that if you don't have enough liquid.
Okay.
You want to put it on, and you really want to stew that down as if you're making a tomato sauce.
Okay.
So you're going to cook it for a long period of time, low and slow, stirring it from time to time.
So the actual preparation, not much at all. It's
No.
just taking again that the time afterwards to cook it down.
Cook it
so
down.
you have to give yourself some time on that, but
And
you have
that's it.
control over it.
Yep.
So why not, right?
And then
Okay.
when that is done, you just send it through a wire sieve to get all the seeds out and any skins,
And you have your sauce.
and there you go.
There, and you
have
know
the
exactly
sauce.
what went into
you
it.
know what went into
All
it.
right, what we're going to do is we're going to sauce these guys up.
Yep.
We've got our wings over there. We're going to throw them all in the barbecue, and we'll come back and finish them off for you.
Sounds good.
Be right back.
Live color fully at Terra, where color lives.
I am a truth seeker.
A storyteller.
A dedicated volunteer.
I am a caring neighbor.
A customer's best friend.
And a client advocate.
I am a survivor.
A social media junkie.
A proud father of four and problem solver.
I am the Hamilton Spectator.
I am the Hamilton Spectator.
I am the Hamilton Spectator.
I am.
We are the Hamilton Spectator.
Good morning. Welcome back to Terra at Home. We're now out by the barbecue, back with Chef Mark, and so we promised we'd take our dry rub chicken wings and our barbecue sauce on our
put them to practice.
lovely chicken and put it to practice, and
That's right.
all done. So of course, chicken takes a lot longer than the commercial break to cook normally, so be wary of that.
So the wings are done. Now what you're going to see is, because it is a dry rub, it will char up a bit, but that's what you're looking for.
Right.
So you have some nice charring on there. It's got nice flavor. And then with the chicken itself, I grilled it. All I put on was some salt and pepper, okay? Oiled the grill, and then I grilled the chicken on its own. Now I'm adding the barbecue sauce. Because there's a high sugar concentration, you do not want to add this on too early.
Okay, I think that is a lot of people's mistakes.
It
because
is.
They actually completely char their chicken black because they put the sauce on first. So as you said, salt and pepper, a little bit of oil.
That's right.
Throw it on the grill, and then are you just putting the sauce on pretty much near the very end?
Near the very end, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over,
Okay.
and I'm going to do the bottom half of it as well, okay?
Okay.
And what ends up happening is, while that chicken has that sauce on the other side, it's caramelizing even more.
Right.
So that's going to help thicken it up, add the flavor, get a little bit more sugar content to it. It'll cut down on a bit of the heat that we have in there.
Okay.
But you definitely don't want this on too early. You have to cook your chicken almost all the way first.
I have to say, one of the best, it's such a great smell. It's just such a wonderful, straightforward thing to do. Barbecue chicken, like the sauce, it's such a sign of summer. But a lot of people are afraid because you have to cook your chicken properly, right? You don't want to poison your guests, so you have to make sure you're doing the right thing.
There you go.
And meat thermometer, make sure you...
If you're not comfortable with cooking chicken, definitely use a meat thermometer, okay? Make sure you check your temperatures on everything.
Okay.
Make sure that chicken is definitely done. But again, you can see how it just charred up just for the few seconds that you saw.
Wonderful. Good job. Thank you. Thank you very much. From me. Have yourself a good weekend.